This conference will now be recorded.
You're live. We are live. We'll start the Stoneybrook Gateway Advisory Committee meeting. It is May 2nd today, correct?
No,
June
June
2nd. June 2nd. Oh my God. I did people how to sleep last night. This is the monthly meeting for June, and we do have a quorum. I will go through the list. Thomas Roller is vacant, not absent, not here. Virginia is here. Angela's here. Warren is here. Chris Capiello and myself, Joe McCulkin. As of this point in time, JT Thomas is also absent. I'm not sure if JT told me he wasn't going to come or not. I can't remember. In any case, we are good to go. We have a quorum, and I guess we'll start with the minutes. Angela, I know, has worked very hard on these minutes to get them correct. It's a tough job. This is also minutes of the budget hearing, so that was a little tougher than normal. And
Actually, these are the recording from Maryland. I've only reviewed them.
okay,
Yeah, I didn't change any of these minutes from the draft.
I do have something from Maryland.
yeah,
Because please let the committee know the next set of minutes we transcribed in a super summary format.
all right.
Because
So,
this was so long, the last one.
yeah, and
so
that's
it's gonna be-
partly because it was a long budget
Correct,
meeting.
correct.
It's the exception. That
She's
doesn't
just
happen.
letting folks know the next one will be super.
All right, so that will make it better.
Move to approve the minutes.
Second.
Second, okay. Warren Davies makes a motion to approve the minutes, and the second came from Virginia. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Minutes are approved. All right, entrance gates is number one on our list to discuss. I think Warren requested that to be there. Is that yours? Or is that
I'm
a
not
leftover?
110% sure, but they seem to be down a lot again, and I saw Cypress, so I got an answer on that, because they're out there doing that checkpoint or whatever it is kind of thing.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes, Cypress is the checkpoint issue.
Yeah, so in effect, and I have contacted Laura and said to her that do not, and I believe Julie knows about this
Yeah.
now too, do not just pay bills from Cypress.
Yeah.
Part of the problem also is making sure that people in the office, our office,
Yeah.
when they receive them, just don't forward them to Gateway.
We've really got to do
Correct.
something to correct some of this stuff. I think as we go through today, we're gonna find there's a lot of things we don't know about, because we're not finding out, we're not approving things are happening. And this is one of them, you know, like, to me, the big thing really was telephone. You know, I know we have checkpoint, and I finally got on checkpoint and it works pretty good, but most people still like that phone, you know, the visitor phone.
That is HOA though. That's not
Yeah, well,
us.
that's true, but I think in part of the whole thing, and I don't know who maintains that telephone visitor call in, because that was down for almost 2 weeks, and that, to me, that's totally unacceptable, but I know that's HOA, but
It is HOA, and we had chaos in that office, a bunch of people in there that are still learning the way.
Well,
You know,
but we have,
It's the Clubhouse network. It's in bad shape. And hopefully at the next meeting, Scott is going to have a proposal for us to vote on to be able to have somebody fix it, because we have issues, anything network related
okay,
with the Clubhouse and the Gatehouse. It's just
okay.
And computers, we have issues
Yeah,
on
it's
computers,
it's
the whole
computers.
system.
phone.
Okay, I just wanted to bring that up as
anything.
part of the gates, because that's part of the entry, all maintained there at the gate. And, you know, and I know we're gonna talk about security a little bit, but the poor guy at the security gate, he catches hell coming and going because people don't call and all that stuff. And then they're the ones that catch the downfall on the thing. So,
Yeah.
so I just wanted to bring that up, that we need to be looking at that whole system, and
The proverbial
gates
trooper
report,
flows downhill. I get it. And the problem is though, that some of these things are board issues, HOA board issues. And And I know that Chris has been frustrated that more hasn't happened, but I can't overstate how tough it is to run the community when the office is a mess.
Yeah.
That's the communication and the handling, getting these things done very
I think
well.
it's getting better. It's getting a lot
We're
better.
on I think we're tracking in the right
But then
direction.
you still
I think
have-
You would agree with that, right?
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt.
You still have some of the board members who should, kind of step up like they did at the gate when the guy walked off. But again, there's other things that they should be stepping up to also, but then that's an HOA thing, and maybe we'll discuss that at the next HOA
That
meeting.
may be the place to do it at the
Yeah.
beginning of the meeting and agenda items or whatever. But we're aware that Cypress is really our shtick.
Mhm.
We now have to deal with IQ, I believe it is.
New IQ. for the
New
maintenance
IQ
of
for
the
maintenance,
arms and
getting
working
things
right,
and
stuff
whatnot.
open.
Is that checkpoint proprietary to Cypress?
I believe it is.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure that it's proprietary to Cypress, because I know other communities do use it.
Yeah,
I think it may have to do with the security company and if they do business with Cypress. And beyond that, there are people who know more about than I do on the specifics of that. But I do know it's out there. It's not just us, that's for sure. In fact, we were the beta when they first came up with it for Cypress. They were getting into this. And we were one of the test communities. We had problems.
Yeah.
But they got resolved but it saved us money early on.
seems to work pretty good I've only been using it a couple of weeks, but I've had some people in and out. It seems working pretty good that way.
When the network is up and running properly,
It works well.
it's flawless. I mean, it's really, really good.
Okay.
Not sure why it's so touchy. Some of it could be a hardware problem. I don't know.
So do we have contracts with Cypress and New IQ separate?
Because don't deal with Cypress, that really depends upon, you may have the answer to that
Yeah.
question. And yes, there is a contract with New IQ and we did a vote on it and approved it.
Okay,
And I believe it was handled also, Gateway is aware of it.
No.
Knows what.
I just looked up contracts and I didn't see it. So I was wondering who the contract is through, the HOA or the Stoneybrook.
Well, is a maintenance agreement considered a contract?
Yeah, I would think so.
Should be listed
Yeah,
there, but.
it's an annual monthly maintenance
Yeah, it's
agreement.
an annual fee, it's a maintenance agreement. When they come out and replace things, it's either no labor or reduced labor, depending upon what it is.
And then my last
And I assume
question
some discounts. for
was
parts.
the billing problems that we've had in the past. I know Shannon, while she was here, some things got fixed, but it's like billings are going to the wrong department or things are getting paid that shouldn't be paid. Is that still happening or is that?
I do not believe so, no. I know I personally have talked to the new camp. What's her name again?
Lucy.
Lucy.
And have explained to her some of the complexities of when these things come in, how to some extent, I gotta be in the loop so we can keep the committee in the loop and what's going on. And if it's something that isn't our responsibility, make her aware of it, that she's gonna, get to the management company. This has to go that way. And the board should be reviewing it to see that it's appropriate.
That's why I was asking, because I wasn't sure if this is something that needs to be brought up at the next HOA meeting and the treasurer needs to be more involved about where the billing is happening, or is this just the CAM is 100% responsible to make sure this doesn't happen?
Probably depends where the bills go. Reoccurring bills go directly to Gateway. She doesn't see those. It's those additional little bills, some of them not so little, that come along. Things that we may even approve, but yet the bill gets sent to Stoneybrook. She needs to be aware of the fact it goes here. And if something does come here, we need to know about it, because maybe it shouldn't be coming here.
I'd have to ask more.
Yeah.
Her and Julie's.
Yeah, and well, she told me that Julie, the things still pass through Julie. Julie sees them before anybody does. And so that's something to be aware of, okay? Let's see.
It just sounds like Lucy and Julie need to connect on each of these
Lucy and Julie. Well, I think that
to make
the
sure that,
whole concept, let me put it this way. Lucy lives over here along,
Silver Lake.
yeah, Silver Lakes, yeah. And she didn't know where this office was. We were describing
most
it to
people
her
don't. Yeah,
yesterday.
most people don't.
And so, there's a lot to learn there about the function of Gateway. And this is most people in Gateway's district do not have a clue what this office does. They really have no
You don't even know
idea.
where it's at.
I know. So it's a learning experience.
All they
But
do
she'll
is
learn.
I just want to make sure that Lucy has really good direction. If she just works straight with Julie, then these mistakes can't keep happening.
Well, I don't want to send her too much to Julie because Julie's not really our contact person anymore. Julie just happens to be the one where the bills come to first. Is that, would you say that was correct?
I'm just thinking the person that gets them first, we could stop a problem from happening moving forward before it ends up in 2 or 3 other people's hands. That's why I was saying if Julie is the key.
Yeah, but I don't want to put it all on her,
Okay,
okay? I think that, we got Georgia and we got Laura.
okay.
Yeah.
Probably they're really in a better position. It just happens to be that
I
maybe
gotcha.
Julie's the one that opens the envelopes.
Okay,
So with that said, I'd like to move on.
Yeah.
thank you.
Sure enough, tree removal along Pebblebrook Boulevard.
Two issues on that. One is the ones we talked about, the 5 by the lift station. I don't know if we want to move forward with that. I know apparently Mainscapes had someone go out one day and give prepare a proposal to take out the 5 trees. And my discussion with him was it's going to be a lot more costly than what we originally talked about. So I think maybe if we want to move forward with that, we can put somewhat of an RFP together and put some stuff, or if we want to hold off until we see where the finances are to do that.
Did we ask Land Care to give us a quote on taking those trees down?
I don't think we did.
No,
I don't
no.
remember
The only,
I couldn't remember.
Yeah. And the only way I know Mainscapes had someone go out there was I was driving by and the
And
guy
you saw
was there and I stopped and talked.
Who was it that he had brought out? Do you recall?
I want to say it was Johnson's thing, but I can't remember
Johnson,
Johnson, but it
Joshua?
may have been the guy we have now. Does he drive black trucks?
Jim told me 5 orchid trees you're talking about, if Freddie go out, it's Freddie sent him the estimate on it.
Oh, okay.
So we're waiting for that then.
Well, no, we haven't really decided what we wanted to do on that, so I think.
No, I know, but we can't do anything until we get an estimate to find out what's going on.
Yeah, well, yeah, because we need, we could get a couple companies to come in if we want to get an RFP out, because I got the RFP kind of written up. That's what we handed out the last time. We can send them out to the contract we have with the tree company here and a couple other people. I don't know. If we want to do that, I can get that taken care of
Well,
by the next meeting.
Brian, do you suggest that the RFP be sent out by Gateway and something like this? If he's done the work to put something together.
Yeah,
but-
I would suggest you're not going to get a better deal than what Freddie's going to give you. I mean, if you want to shop around over the price of those 5 trees, they're little orchids, they're not the big oaks.
I know.
I mean, I got the quote on my desk. I don't have it with me, but I know it was not that much. I suggest if you want it done, just go straight to
Oh, and
Freddie.
did that include trees, the purchase of 5 sable or 4 sable palms?
You could have him purchase your trees for you if you have it in the budget. I mean, I've done it all the time. I mean, I have Jim do that because he finds good prices on the trees. You can't beat
Okay.
the price.
Okay, well, we can, if it's okay with the board, I can work with Jim and we can get something put together and have it ready for the next meeting for approval and maybe come up where we can find the money to pay for the next
Which
meeting.
budget does it come out of?
Yeah, huh?
Which budget line does it come out of?
Well, hard telling right now because there's a couple different ones, depends where the money's at. We'll have to look at that.
Yeah, I know, there's a couple ways. Plus also, we got the 5862.
Yeah,
There's
But
a
we can-
revenue reserve for other fees and charges.
Yeah.
So that's.
we'll take a look and see what we have available at that time.
Yeah. We'll see that on the sheet that I had
Yeah.
copied that you got today.
Brian,
The,
can I ask you a question? What's the timeline on that first station? Because I heard them say they were going to stagger them.
You'd have to ask Kenny.
Okay,
I don't have anything to do with lift stations. I know he does them.
Yeah.
okay.
Stagger 'em.
So they're not like on the calendar yet. Nothing's on the calendar. I just,
No. He's on vacation, so I don't think
did
I don't
you hear
think it's
somebody
on
say
the
they were going to like spread them out?
he's got to line up. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
gonna
he's
spread them out over certain times because
Yeah.
of money,
See,
for one.
the second issue is we've been trying to get the 2x4s off those palm trees down by Stone Valley Loop. There's 4 of them, one's dead. The last time I talked with Al, He said they told Mainscapes to take those off back in January. I met with her and Jim probably about 6 weeks ago when we talked about the trees. And then we also have that other palm tree that needs to be cut down right there too, because it's dead. And they agree, but nothing's been done. And I don't know if they told Mainscapes to do it and they haven't done it, I don't know. But if you go by there, you can see the wire that goes around it is starting to dig into the tree.
Were the warranties on this?
Who is the person that deals directly with Mainscape now?
Jim,
Jim. That's what I thought. Any chance that he's in the building?
I just texted him, he's out on Dan.
Well, I think it's just something, they know about it, and if they've told Mainscapes to do it and they haven't done it, I mean, that's just another, to me, that's just another
Wayne or whatever, yeah.
I just, it just seems to take forever. And we have to tell them when to take them off and say, the wire that goes around is starting to go into the tree.
Into the park, yeah, it's good.
So,
Usually they pop.
And the ones that are
Up
done,
in
are
Ruston
they
up
in
here.
warranty? They're gonna
no,
replace those?
there's only one that should be on, and this is at the Sables
Yeah.
down by us, by
Yeah.
Stone Valley Loop, by the lake. There's only one that's probably on warrant.
Should be, yeah.
Should be on warranty.
And L.
And I'm not even sure we even want to replace that. Maybe just take it out and sod it over that spot, because that's been a bad spot for some reason.
Well, the first tree died because it was hit by the people
Yeah,
working on
yeah.
the lake. This tree, I don't know if it was planted improperly or if it
I don't know.
was not a healthy tree. I just don't know.
So,
I'd like to see us give it a shot again.
yeah.
Because there is a paucity of palm trees at our end of the community. There's not many up there
No,
along Pebblebrook.
no, well, we've lost some because of Irma. We lost
Yeah,
some.
well, those were regular trees, not palm trees.
Yeah, but I was glad we lost them when we did, because it didn't cause any damage.
he's on his way back, so you can ask him.
Okay.
Okay.
Speaking, along as we're on trees, and this is a little bit off subject. There are a couple of dead trees, one in particular, that is a cypress that is over by one of our lakes. In the past, because it is within the lake area and that,
It's in the LME.
you guys are taking care of that. And it's the lake along 82. I think it is a decent sized cypress. Right now, the lake bank is pretty low, even with the recent rain, and it's about 12, 15 feet from the water. But when the water's higher, it's right along the edge. And I assume we'll have somebody take a look at that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where's that on that mile stretch?
Um,
Give me a road, because it's a long pond.
You could see it from Stone Tower.
Didn't Lou say it was across from Owen?
Yes, he did. If, in other words, Owen's a street that meets perpendicular at
Correct.
82.
Yeah.
It's in that section of the lake.
Is it on the 82 side?
It's right along the lake.
No, what I'm saying is this, is on the side where your
Yes,
houses
it
are
is.
at, or only on the side by
It's
the
on the
82?
far, it's away from the
So you're on
house.
82
Yeah.
side. Okay.
And there has been some issue with irrigation over there too, but that's another thing that's not for us here. That's a HOA issue. But that tree, I think, has been dead for a while, and believe it, and I am confident that's not the only one. We'll probably be back talking about some dead cypress trees, some of which are pretty small, never really grew and have suffered along the way and finally.
Well, that
thrown
pond
in
is on the restoration list for
Is it?
next go round. If the money's there in August, that's up the state, so we'll find out.
Which means it wouldn't get done in probably until early next year then, correct? Yeah, we want to do it in the dry season.
If the money gets approved.
Yeah.
But what we learned this year is it stayed wet so late, we just started to bring pumps out and pump them down like we
That
did
may be
50.
the way to do it, yeah.
And I think we're going to have to, because there's like 8 ponds on the next go round.
Yeah, I will tell you that that worked pretty well. I thought that process worked well. And the guys who did the job this time, I don't think anybody would disagree, did a nice job on that lake.
Yeah, Todd with Matt Tire did excellent. He's getting ready to start one over
Really good.
Yeah, it does.
123 now, so.
I just give him 2 thumbs up and, and pass it along.
Is it 100% completed?
Other than watering the grass, yes.
And so that cart that's over there, that's what that
He's
does?
watering that yard. We have to until that sod takes hold or starts raining every day.
I was just curious
Yeah.
off the subject. When are they gonna take the 2 porta potties out?
As soon as he's done watering that grass. Because the guy has to go to the bathroom, where's he
Yeah.
gonna go?
Not on the agenda,
Yeah,
but I was
the
like,
neighbors don't particularly like it being, having their doors knocked down. Can I use your
Yeah,
bathroom?
At
so
least it's not close
just
to
in
any
case
houses.
somebody asks.
he'll be there until that grass takes hold. It's
Okay.
normally about 30 days. By the rainy season, he'll be here. But if I
Not a
do,
problem.
you know what's gonna happen? Somebody's in the bushes peeing and I'll
Yeah.
never hear it.
No, but the fact of the matter is that worked out pretty good.
There's the man about the tree.
There you go. We've got questions for him?
No, this is about trees and Stoneybrook.
Trees that were good, that we talked about, that, going backwards what we had, the wood, they're still on the sable palms between Stone Valley Loop, down at the far end of Pebblebrook. The braces, they've never come off, and we have that one tree that's supposed to be cut down. Huh?
The one palm is being replaced.
Okay, that's on warranty?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's Mainscape,
When-
right?
Right.
When will,
They'll remove
when will they be taking the boards off?
when they do the tree.
Okay, because that metal strip that goes around there is starting to dig into the trees. I just noticed that today when I was going by there, that getting in there. We noticed when we were out there before, so, okay.
Yeah, and the tree, you probably don't want to plant it until we get to the true rainy season anyway, I would think.
Yeah, I think it's here just about.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Another hour.
And we can get together hopefully and work on those 5 olive
Estimate here for it.
for buying trees and the whole thing, just taking down.
He wants to buy trees as well.
Yeah, we want
And you want to replace them?
sables,
Oh, okay.
yeah, 4 sables.
Are you talking about where the stations are going?
What was the price on removing those trees that they gave us?
3,500,
Yeah.
stump grinding.
That's about $700 a tree.
Just sounds like.
Let's get another proposal because that's awfully high because we're getting
we've
oak
paid
trees taken down on the loop for 350. I mean,
Let's get a proposal from that guy.
yeah, I don't have it, Anchor's the one that's been taking them down.
Okay.
So-
I'll call Tommy and.
Yeah, okay, I'll wait and see, yeah. And
Replacing them with sables.
now that 3,500, is that from the current contractor?
That's from Mainscapes. That's from their contract.
Who's their contractor? Johnson?
Johnson, yes, sir.
What about our contract with,
That's personal touch.
Personal Touch?
They don't take trees out. That's a separate quote for that. What they do is have a personal touch has one where they cut the hardwoods back and the palm trees part of the
Okay,
contract.
they do maintenance, they don't,
But if you want trees taken out, it's a whole
Okay.
separate thing.
okay.
Yeah, they can do it. They remove them and they can replace them.
I just want to get a better quote because I know Anchor's done a good, and they've done a pretty good job on, we just had 2 or 3 taken out in the loop here.
Anchor's doing your trees on, and for
Well,
350
the
a pop?
homeowners contract,
Okay.
homeowners getting a good deal on it, 350.
Yeah.
Who did we do the contract in the past?
Maybe we can
No,
work
no,
on
I'm
something.
saying.
I'm taking my kid.
Yeah,
there.
right.
'Cause,
Maybe
Yeah.
I live in Stoneybrook, and it's hysterical.
Anchor,
So I'm not
they
lying.
run
Yeah, yeah.
Gateway, that's why we use them. But they're good, they do a good job, I really like.
So we can get a quote from
Yeah.
Anchor with the,
But maybe he might jack the price up on since since Brian wouldn't give him the contract.
Yeah, yeah, right.
He doubled that price, buddy.
Hey,
No, he
But
tried- no,
he said
4 times his bid. is
he
what
cut
did.
he cut his original bid down because he wanted the contract real bad, and all of a sudden he found out how much it was gonna
He
cost.
lost his butt, that's why
Yeah,
he doubled.
yeah, he did, yeah. But
He
they do
went
good
from
work. I
40,000
really like
to 160.
Huh?
He bid 40,000, the contract that he won. The next, for your
Yeah.
player was 160.
Yeah.
So
wow.
that's how much he lost. I mean,
Yeah, oh, yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Or he's trying to even more than making it up.
Yes.
You know, even I've been in the business 30-some years, and if you get palms or sables trimmed for, $16 to $18, and you can get them for that if you have 1,000.
Yeah.
Okay, we have 2,000, and if at $18, it's 40 grand.
Yeah,
So if you tell me you can do my trees and sables and oaks and everything for 40 grand? No. In
Yeah, we
fact,
get-
it wasn't 30, it was
Yeah.
like 32,000.
Actually-
Because there was another company that wanted the whole bids, and they came in at the same price as Anchor. There's no way.
And in addition to that, I was told by someone who just in that business, I was talking to about looking at our community, and he said that the problem with the palm trees is getting rid of the palms, the fronds and the debris that you trim off. The hardwood, that he can get rid of that. There's people who chip it up or whatever and use it for various things. Not so much with the fronds. It's a tougher thing to get rid of.
Yeah, well, they're nasty.
Yeah, and they fill up the truck, he says, faster than.
They go to Buckingham, they
Yeah.
charge you per truckload.
Yeah, so, you know, there are additional costs there. And I
Yeah,
do
we're
get it.
getting, the villas are getting their trees, palm trees trimmed out and some oak trees trimmed out. We're trimming out a whole bunch of birds of paradise. I can't convince people to dig them totally out, but we're gonna knock them down quite a bit, and the whole bid's gonna
They'll
cost.
be back.
Huh?
They'll be back.
Oh, yeah, well, that's why we're taking roots out. Yeah, we won't let them just cut it down to the bottom.
Okay.
Yeah, if they want it out, it's gotta come out totally, yeah. You know.
They never even bloom, do they?
Oh, they do, but they're beautiful when they bloom, but then they look like crap when they die out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta keep up on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and ours are just huge.
I want to skip over the security issue for a question. I want to go to mulch.
Okay.
While in landscaping, and anyway, the mulch, we never got mulch as,
You had one application,
When?
like all Gateway last year on the old contract.
When-
Okay?
When was that?
Last year on the old contract,
that's
everybody,
the 2020 that ended in September 30th, 2020. Is that?
and then in March 31st.
Yeah.
This year.
Oh, their contract, which is not really, okay.
So what happened is everybody had one application when I got here. After we spent $75,000 getting all the mulch out of the storm drain system up and down Gateway Boulevard, I said, no more mulch.
Yeah, I heard
What I
about
didn't
that.
realize is, well, Glenn decided, told him to stop Stoneybrook as well. That I didn't know. So here's the issue. All the money's gone. You want mulch, I'm gonna have to take it from the 001 account and move it back to the 004, the 4,300, give you mulch.
Where did it go?
Take trees up, things all over the place. We trimmed all the palm trees. We removed
But there
54 oak
was-
trees. We took all that money and we did other stuff with it up and down
But
Gateway
you-
Boulevard.
But you can't do that. You can't take Stoneybrook money to do anything
Well-
outside Stoneybrook.
Correct, we didn't. But the problem was it expired at the end of the year,
No, it expired March 31st.
31st.
So there were 6 months under the old contract, which indicated that the monthly payment that was taken out for Stoneybrook was $9,846. Out of that 9846, 935 of that was designated for mulch. Where is that money?
Well, I gotta ask Laura,
And that's one of the reasons I want this here too.
because that's one of the things that was part of the old contract.
Well, in the
Yeah.
old contract, it says 2 occurrences on pine straw, 2 occurrences on red mulch, and 2 occurrences pine straw are different.
that would be about right.
Because I know one was done. I gotta find out why
Because
the other one
if-
didn't.
And we're still trying to figure out if the other one
If
wasn't
nothing
there,
else-
there was money.
We need to get that money back into the old core budget. That's $4,500.
For the
40.
current contract that isn't,
Well, the current contract, there's no mulch listed, but we're still 6 months behind where we were supposed to get
Well,
mulch.
I hear what you're saying. I misstated it. For the current budget, because the contract ends in the middle of our budget.
Right.
Smack in the middle, in fact.
That's why I figured
And
it
we-
out from the
and that's
start of
why-
the budget.
I can't understand how we're so far over budget for the first 6, 7 months, because
No.
they certainly didn't spend it on that, if you know what I mean.
Correct.
We need to see, I really do need to
So
see
I was
that.
gonna get with her, but she's off.
Okay, I know. When is she
I
coming
think
back?
If nothing
I don't
else,
know.
we
I'm
can
off
get the money
tomorrow and the
back.
next day, so it's gonna be next week.
All right.
And we've been doing budgets as well, and what I'm doing on Gateway's budget, we didn't put mulch in a contract. We're gonna do it as needed basis only. So we're gonna put a line item for mulch for Gateway
Mhm.
and put a dollar amount in it. 3 times a year is crazy. Jim can contest. You don't need it 3 times a year, because what we found out in 30 years, there's over 90, almost 100 applications up and down Gateway Boulevard. None of the old stuff ever came out. It all went down the storm drain, majority of it. So what we're going to do is do it on an ad needs basis, whether it's once or twice a year. But what was 80 grand a year for mulch? 90 grand a year for mulch?
I've got a lot of room.
Well, my concern really comes down, we've been paying, the money, and part of that money was the mulch. And we haven't gotten that service. We haven't gotten it, at least this last 6 months, and we haven't gotten it since whenever we stopped doing that, even before the last budget. But I didn't see anything coming back from Mainscape saying, here's your money back because we didn't do it. So we have, actually, it's $5,600 in the last 6 months. That should be in our budget that we could do things with.
And suppose we've paid, we spent
We've
more.
already, yeah, it's
we're
just
over.
like ADT, and it's like the last stuff, we get a monthly payment, and part of that payment is for the mulch, $935 for the mulch.
Yeah, we need to get some line items and some billing, some invoices for where the money to Mainscape. And is there something else on the landscaping contractual services besides Mainscape? Is there something else that's hitting that line item? Because I don't understand why it's so high. We're already, as of this month, right now, $29,000 over the budget. I don't understand that. I don't see how it could be.
I don't know.
Can I ask
Only
one?
thing I can think of is maybe the path might have been added onto that somehow.
But the path, I think, is somewhere else over here.
I think there's some other lines there, but I think that might, because that was about 27,000.
I know what
that
you're saying.
path.
I know
Yeah.
that it would be close to that.
Yeah.
But I believe that shouldn't be under landscape contractual services, because they're not the one that did the work.
Yeah. Not sure, but
Yeah, there is the sidewalk and road thing that should be a road and sidewalk. Now, there's not enough money hitting here. I will say that. Maybe they threw it up there and maybe you're right. But even the utility fees, I don't understand that projected $60,000 number, where that came from.
I don't.
We need to talk about that. And that's under landscaping services.
I think we need to sit down with Laura.
I did do that, and unfortunately, she told me she didn't have access to all the numbers that I needed. And what's her name? In the management company,
Infomark.
Sonia.
Oh,
Sonia, yeah, Infomark, but Sonia did send out again all the budget for all of Gateway, but that's not really what I needed.
Yeah.
I needed line items specific just for Stoneybrook, for 3 items maybe. 3 line items that I couldn't understand or wrap my head around.
I can email her.
Okay,
Let's see, Sonia just sent you for Stoneybrook.
yeah, just for Stoneybrook, and essentially is 3 line items. And I'm gonna ask, I'm probably gonna come to the meeting tomorrow, because I see there's $1,000 spent for engineering fees, and that I'm not sure what, or actually not, no, that's, and it doesn't show anything billed here. I'm not sure what that's about. Because it doesn't show budget having any money remaining, but there's $1,000 out of there from the last budget. And there were fees for our attorney fees. And I think I'm probably gonna find that I'm not happy about it is that those attorney fees, we're trying to get the ADT money back. But I'll be honest with you, that wasn't our fault. That ATT charges were not our fault. In fact, we lost a lot of money on that deal. And personally, I think Gateway is partly, if not all,
Yeah.
responsible for that error. We shouldn't be paying their attorney
No.
fees to resolve it. But I'll bring that up tomorrow. But if we can find out what Tony was charging us for, and I think it was that, but let's find out.
Can I ask one question? It's been a couple of Gateway Services meetings a while back. I just heard you stand up and ask questions about the mulch, and I could have swore Brian gave you an answer of the questions that we had not being done previously, that it was going to be done. I don't know if that was 1 or 2 months ago. I remember this
Last
being
month.
brought up.
Last month.
You were standing out here and you asked about that, and I don't know why I'm thinking that Brian
Yeah,
said
they were gonna,
it would be resolved, or.
Brian
the
was gonna do
treatment would be
something
done.
on the mulch. I don't know what, I can't recall whether he's gonna get it set up to have the mulch delivered. I thought it was delivered today, but it went to the HOA. A truckload of mulch, but the HOA.
Oh,
did.
around the
Yeah, around the
guardhouse,
clubhouse.
the clubhouse,
we
yeah.
did mulch.
So I thought that this was already in the process of getting
But
done.
But I really, and this is why we need to get it mulched. And I don't think it should cost us any money.
Along the, well, it shouldn't cost us additionally because it was in the contract that we
Yeah.
paid for. It was in the last 6 months of that contract. And in addition to that, what's happening right now, we just paid to have our sidewalks cleaned. And where the mulch is not, we had that heavy rainfall the other day. It's washed some of it right onto the sidewalk.
Yeah, dirt, it just messed up.
Not everywhere, but a
Yeah,
couple
just
key
everywhere.
spots that washed out as a result of that. It just never ends. But we do need some mulch because we're coming into the rainy season. That washout will continue. Without it.
Between the trees that stain the sidewalk and then the dirt coming down and and you can just have, just slide down. It just slides down that way.
You know, on the sidewalk there, that sidewalk was, you're probably not aware of it, but we only had a walk on one side of the community, which was really stupid. And after the fact, they came in and cut into that pitch, berm, whatever you want to call it, and installed the cement sidewalk after the fact. Initially, they put like brickbat up there, rocks along the sidewalk, which
They
was
all ended up on the street.
nasty. The kids were riding their bikes like it was a course or something down the rocks, and it looked lousy. They came in, pulled it out, dug into the hill, degraded a little bit better, but it's steeper there than it was ever intended to be. And that's why it washes out over there, because that was not the original way it should have been. But it is the way it is, and so we need mulch there to stop erosion. We really do, along that sidewalk. Otherwise, I don't think we've had the same problem that you've had with the mulch getting into the drains. Because where the mulched areas are is a little bit back away. It's on the other side of the sidewalk for the most part. It really isn't close to where it's going to wash out into the drains. I think
Because
that's
you
a
have a
minor
closed
problem.
system.
Hmm?
You have a closed system.
Yeah.
Parts of Gateway up here is an open system. And when you have an open system, it has nowhere to go.
Yeah.
That's why you notice all those bull noses are done out there now.
Yeah.
I tried to resolve most of that as I could last year, because that's another reason we put the bull noses and get the plant irrigation stuff off of that to keep it from going in the storm drains.
Okay.
Because we nonstop last year in July, August, and September was doing nothing but having a vac-on truck come up and down Gateway Boulevard, sucking all this mulch out. This pine straw just kept going into it.
Yeah, which I don't think we have that problem, and I agree with Warren 100% that for the last 6 months of the Mainscape contract, we paid for it and didn't get it. And we should have gotten that second installation.
So moving forward, how do we request to get that and give us some type of a timeline?
Well, he can't do that until he talks to Mainscapes and finds out what their deal is too.
So, but we have requested it.
Yeah, we're requesting
You
it.
requested it at the Gateway Services meeting.
Yeah, we had made comment on it,
Numerous
and Brian
requests.
said he was gonna handle
We'll
it.
have to get with Eric.
Thank you.
All right. Now, landscaping along gateway-owned areas. Is that yours? Did you put that one on there?
I don't think I did. I don't think.
The only thing I could think of that's in there was for the discussion of cost and billing. I think that was the subject matter there, of the cost of the landscaping services
Oh.
along that area. Because things like plant replacement, we have a line item for that. That's a separate line item, and we're within that budget right now. Although I would like to see those invoices before they get spent, but otherwise, I think this is strictly about billing. I don't want to tie Jim up for the security company discussion. So the mulch, we can count
He's very
on
happy sitting
something's
there.
going to be happening.
Yes, I'm gonna get with Laura and find out where the money went.
Yep.
And if not, we'll move money over to cover it.
Show me the beef.
Thank you.
So that way we'll get it covered. But as I told Gateway residents, you're not gonna get it until later this
Yeah.
year, because
But
I'm not
this
doing
is
Gateway
not
Boulevard.
Gateway money, this is our money.
Correct.
Yeah, we should
Y'all
get
want
that.
it done prior to or as soon as we can?
Yeah, I do, because I think heavy rains are going to increase the washout.
Well, I don't think mulch is gonna stop the washing.
Well,
You're talking about it that steep.
Here,
It's gonna go in the drain one way or another.
yeah, well, it's not going to the drain, it's going
Or the
onto the
road.
sidewalk, it's going into the sidewalk, not even the road. Because then on the other side of the sidewalk, there's grass there, and that tends to stop it. But,
If it's that steep, maybe we should try to look
Well,
into some type of,
if you get a chance,
round cover.
come on in, take a look at what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Look to the
Some of
right
the
as
trees
you,
have huge
Yeah.
areas with roots coming out, and it comes all the way down. One, somewhere, I don't know who did, they put some plants along the edge.
Yeah.
which look
You on the
tacky,
west side or the east side?
west side
Where the concrete's at.
where the concrete is.
down by pond 59 or 60?
The numbers for the ponds don't.
All right, where Margaret lives or farther north? The pond we just did, that's
I think
59.
it's further north. Yeah, I think it's probably around the Bluestone to Muddy Creek area. You've got,
There's a bunch of trees like that.
yeah, someone came in, doesn't look bad. They put some plants in there probably to try to
Oh,
stop
but
some of
plants,
that.
yeah, it's down, and you can,
And you could see where around the base of the trees, so there's no grass there and they don't have to cut over there, where there is a need for.
Okay, we can try the mulch and see what happens.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
could you also like give us your professional opinion? Because if that was my yard, I wouldn't throw mulch on top of there. That looks like years of needing to put some type of a dirt or something over it to fill it in. It's just like sinking versus just throwing. I'm just thinking it's been settled so long that it's just gonna stop.
Yeah, but if you make a mound out of it, it's just gonna wash away. You start mounding it up unless there's roots holding it together of some sort, like sod or something.
It just
It's
seems
just gonna
like
wash
2
away.
years I've noticed the roots are just,
that's the dirt washing off.
Yeah, it's the dirt washing off.
Roots right at the top. Mostly were oak trees and that other tree, that nasty ugly tree, the dirty tree.
does pine straw stick better than mulch, one over the other?
Yeah, they'll tend to more
Interlock.
lace together
Yeah.
and interlock. if you
Yeah,
will.
and the other wood chips, let's say, float.
Yeah.
Right.
They float, so when you get a lot of water, they just float away.
Just want to do it right.
Or Elwell, on the sidewalk area.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
All right, so we're good on that then?
Yeah.
We understand that.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Yes, sir.
you.
And I'll get some more companies, a couple out as soon as I can.
That'd be good, because that seems like awfully high. That's
It
like,
does seem high.
that's like the mulch from Gateway or from, I keep saying, from Mainscapes, $7 a bale.
It's even higher.
That's really high, because, we pay $5.45.
Yeah, but that's not installed. Huh?
Huh?
That's
No,
not-
look, that's a pine straw.
Okay.
And then, yeah, that's installed.
Is it?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
installed. And it looks like this contract or this information we got from Landmark, they charge about the same,
Yeah, I know.
$5.75 or something like that
Mhm.
installed. So $7 seems awfully high in that area. So that's another reason, saving money.
It's contractual.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. And of course, it's not in the new contract, because there's no mulch,
No.
there's no
Correct.
price, so there's no
So
cost.
you can go to your 545.
Yeah, yeah.
As long
Yeah.
as we
So
get
we're gonna give you one.
Yeah.
If we
Last-
know you.
Last year was just a pain trying to get mulch. It was terrible.
So
Don't think this
meanwhile,
year's gonna be
from
better either.
Landscapes, we need to get something down that
Yeah,
we
we-
paid for already.
We ordered 1,450 bales, and we got a whole bunch of rolls. And we're trying to equate how many
Rolls of
bales
bales.
go to, yeah. We figured out it was either 2.1 up to 2.7.
Need to have it, it's good. All right, well, is there anything else I can answer?
No, we're good. We're good.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Jim.
guys. We'll let
Thanks,
you
Jim.
know.
Thank you.
And have a good day.
Thank you.
All right, security company. You want to take that one?
There isn't really a whole lot to talk about, other than last Wednesday, the RFP went out with a due back date of June 25th. And Lou, Dan, and myself will be meeting on the morning of the 26th to look at them. And our goal is to have a recommendation for the board to vote on at the July meeting. At which
So-
time then we would have to forward
Yeah, you're
the
looking at,
Gateway half of the contract, and hopefully they can get it done, so we can go with the September 1st implementation.
that's about the best you're gonna do, right?
Yeah, all you have to do is sit through it. Never mind, I'll pass. I won't say nothing else.
No, there is a process here because it is part of
Yes,
the,
it is. It's a process, and there are certain things that they require. They just went through Pelican. They just had some stuff with Pelican on their security stuff. So,
and,
It's
yeah, I heard some other stories about Securitas recently from some other communities too, but I want to get into that here. All right, so the update is that, yeah, we're looking at this. We're looking to make a change. The HOA will be handling that for the most part, not us, because that really isn't our bailiwick. But we're just here to help pass it through as a taxable item and pay for it through Gateway to save sales tax.
Is this the same RFP they used the last time?
Exactly. Margaret had it. She forwarded it to me. We changed the date. We changed the contact information of the CAM and the due date. And they went back out. They went to 5 vendors.
So this is more just to let you know what's going on, and we'll keep you in the loop and when this does change.
The same vendors that the last time too, or?
No, there were some new names I didn't
Really?
recognize from the last time.
We did include Allied, or they did include Allied.
They
in
did
the-
include Allied,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, Allied is there. Allied, I know Allied statewide, DPS. And I can't remember the other two. I can get them from Lucy.
Was Kent one of them?
I'm not sure. There was, because Kent I would have recognized because I always see it on Gabby's
Right.
face mask.
Mhm.
So there's 5, definitely.
Yeah, there's
That's
5.
good. That's good.
That's good.
Yeah, because there are things happening and we're not happy. And we know they have problems getting people, but it's more than that going on right now.
And we're probably getting people, I'm almost afraid of what the number is gonna come back at.
Yeah.
Well, it
Because
depends what you're asking for.
Last year's bid was before the minimum wage bill that went through and all that kind of stuff, so.
That's gonna be the price of doing business.
Exactly.
I mean, that's the whole thing. If you want personal security or personal contact with people coming in the gate, you're gonna have to pay the price. I mean, there's no way around it right
No,
now.
there isn't.
All righty, let's see what I have here. You have a couple of landscape management agreements. I don't know if any of you had a chance to look at it or not. Now, once again, I really feel like this is more of an HOA issue, but this has kind of fallen in our lap to be able to handle it because it does handle a contract on gateway-owned property.
Yep.
This is not an agenda item, so basically using the opportunity here at the end of this is my committee request, if you want to call it that. Did anybody have any questions on this? Because one of the things that gets a little bit convoluted, and I know that Chad had questioned me on this, I did respond to him not once but twice now about a couple issues.
Yeah, sort of.
And it has to do with the fact that this particular proposal builds everything such as tree trimming and pruning and maintaining the hedgerows and shrubs, systemic treatment, and that sort of thing into one price. Because a lot of the things like this that we did with Mainscape were separate billed items. They were additional charges. And, well, you can see what the amount is. This one, it's 154.80 is the total proposed. It said plus tax, but tax isn't an issue if we run it through Gateway. And it shows what the monthly payments will be. Now, this is substantially more than what we're paying now, but there are a couple of light items up here on our budget that would therefore probably get included into the landscaping because it's covered by this contract. Everybody get that?
Probably the one thing that would come out rather quickly would be the palm pruning. But that's only $6,200 because we had talked about doing the pruning separately on a separate RFP. But if we want to keep it that way, that's fine too, if we're going to do that. But I think if we're, like I've said, I question if we're going to have to bid this out since it's,
I'm going there next,
yeah, okay.
okay?
But I think most of the other stuff that's listed there is stuff that it's kind of in most of the landscaping contracts.
Well, not the tree trimming isn't.
Well, no,
No.
well, that's what I just said, I'm sorry.
And
The tree trimming is not,
I will tell you, the berms with the trimming along the berms, that's not in the contract
Yeah.
either. That was additional.
Yeah.
And the systemic treatment of the ficus
Yeah.
along those berms was expensive.
So that's what, they had the hardwood tree pruning, 138 of them, one occurrence. But how often is that? I think I heard, and Brian, correct me, someone had said at a board meeting that they only do the oak trees or hardwood trees once every 3 years,
And if,
2 to 3.
2 to 3 years.
All depends.
So
Yeah,
it wouldn't be an
depends.
every year thing, yeah.
different people have different philosophies on that.
And
I will say this, if they don't do it that year, you don't get charged that year.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that would need clarification, but I'm sure that would be the case.
yeah.
Um,
The one thing I heard and rumor talk discussions around was that when this company took over, that they had like a startup cost where it cost a lot of money for them to do certain things that was not budgeted.
They found a lot of breaks and repairs and miscues from previous. Some of the stuff they just ate and did.
We're
And some of the
talking-
stuff they gave us additional proposals for.
And that had to do with irrigation?
It was, and also, lawn and areas and storm grates needed to be cleaned out because the grass grew right over it. They couldn't even find out where they were and different things like that.
Some of those were clogged.
Yeah, I mean, if it was something that, and I gotta be quite honest, Mike ate a lot of stuff in the very beginning. Now, whether that was just to make us feel good, but he seems to be a stand-up guy.
Yeah, well, I've talked to him just
So,
one
yeah.
time.
And I talked to him at least a couple times, now, probably 3, and he does seem like a decent young guy, he really does. Seems like a pretty trustworthy, and also I was impressed with his knowledge for a young
Yeah.
guy.
And that, and Mike, the 154 is pretty high, but then if he's gonna have a startup cost where he's gonna come out and do certain things, extra cost to us, then maybe we need to back away a little bit.
Yeah, he doesn't do anything extra without getting
Us
approval
counts.
first.
Which brings me to the next question then, because as far as this number goes, we're really not in a position to sit down and negotiate with him on this
Right.
number at this time. But do we need to go out to an RFP on this contract now? Do we have a legal obligation to do that at this time? And because I was thinking, and I could be wrong, that we just went through this to get the contract that we have with Mainscapes late last year. And they went through this in-house with our HOA and awarded the contract to these guys because they came out and won the bid on that contract. And I will say I delayed any changeover or serious consideration because I wanted verification that
That
the
they've done the
HOA
job.
has done the job and done a good job. I didn't want to get out of a frying pan into the fire, and it seems like they have.
Yeah, we've had them a year now and we don't have.
Yeah, by now, the wards have usually shown up, if you know what I mean.
I know Gateway ourselves, we have a certain number. If it goes above, you have to bid it out.
And that number would be, I know we're constrained to what you're,
I want to say, and I have to check with Tony, but I'm pretty sure it's 175.
okay, well, we're under that.
And I want to check, but I'm pretty sure that's a number because I had to on stormwater issues.
Did Land Care bid for the Gateway contract?
I don't remember them
Landscape.
being on that
I
list.
don't
I
think they
think
did.
we only had 5 and I don't think they were
No,
on
I
it.
don't think they were.
either.
And I, they haven't come from an area that you write an RFP for just about anything to make sure everything's covered when you're in government. I would be concerned in the fact that they've just given Gateway or they've just given Mainscapes the contract. And now they're gonna take the contract away and give it to somebody who didn't even bid on it originally. And I think I would definitely not want to proceed too far until we talk with the district's attorney
Yeah, I think.
to
it'd probably
find
be
out,
not
just
bad.
to make sure.
Just to see
because-
what the guidelines are, because we don't want to go outside those guidelines, if that's okay.
Because
And maybe I'll make tomorrow night's afternoon's meeting and try to get a minute with them to run it.
and if you read the contract or the RFP that Gateway put out for their landscaping, it's much more in-depth, and it becomes part of the contract on the return, because it's about yay thick, but only a bunch of pages. And that, to me, that's a smart way to do it, because they've already committed to that aspect of it. But it's more detailed as to what gets done and how it maybe how it gets done, where I'm not sure how land care contract, I've got a copy of it somewhere, but it's just very basic.
I will say this, and Mainscape's not a bad landscaping company. There certainly are worse ones out there. But I will tell you that that contract is only as good as we are at keeping them to it.
Right.
And because if we're not on top of it all the time, a lot of the stuff doesn't happen.
Yeah,
In a
and
timely
that's,
manner or in a proper number of
that's
times.
true. I totally agree with that. We just,
That doesn't matter who you hire.
I know.
You got to babysit it.
So it's really up to us. I know, I agree.
yes.
So, but some are worse than others, you know,
Yes, they are. Mainscape is not bad as you think,
as I understand.
especially with the size property you're dealing with and the age of the stuff
Well,
you're
of
dealing
all,
with.
yeah, this, in any case, we do, I think part of this final decision is going to be based upon just how did that bill get so damn high? Because that's what really lit me up, and I want to know what
And
happened.
I think the only way to do that is to sit down with Laura, and it might be a good time to
Well,
sit down with
and
Laura.
Laura's got to have the information in front of her.
Tomorrow might be a
apparently
bad day to do it because
She's not around.
Well, no, I mean, because of the board meeting tomorrow. I don't know how much she has on the board. She always has a presentation to make.
Yeah, well, I don't think I'm going to see her here tomorrow. She's not going to be here tomorrow.
But she'll be here
I have no
tomorrow.
idea. I know I'm not.
Is she
I'm
here
not here
tomorrow?
or Friday.
I don't think so.
Oh, I thought she was gonna be here tomorrow. I thought we just picked.
I didn't know she was off today until this morning, so
Oh,
you'd
So-
have to ask Chris.
Yeah,
He might know.
maybe she'll be here tomorrow, or she might call it in. I don't know.
yeah, that's what she did the last meeting. She
Yeah.
called in, so.
I know she has family in town, so.
Oh, okay.
All right, so in any case, that's the story on this. I don't want to, I do, before I wanted to sit down with landscape, or land care, I think that there might be a little bit of room here we can still squeeze, but I don't want to be doing that unless, if we have to put this out for an RFP.
Yeah.
And I did want to suggest also, if we do put this out for an RFP, that I think the specifications pages here actually read pretty well, and I think that that could be the basis for an RFP.
Well, again, don't Tony have to approve the RFPs that go out? Does he approve those? Or is it just those really technical ones that?
No, what we normally do is if, like all the pre-bids we did, or myself or whoever, we write them up the best we can, but we do bounce it off of Tony for all the legal stuff in it because we're not attorneys.
Do you have a copy of this?
I have one right here.
Okay, I just wanted you to see if you can see what we're talking about. That's all.
Now, one question I would have.
Sure.
Being that one of the reasons, maybe not the main reason, of course, but one of the reasons for looking at this particular company is so that we don't have the multiple company finger pointing issue inside our gate.
You know this, I know.
And doesn't that get any consideration into, okay?
If it's close, I would say yes. If it's close.
I would want a handwritten note from Tony saying that it was totally legal because you get burned once or twice on those things and you want to go back because it just goes to hell in a handbasket. But I think it
would
almost,
be nice whenever a question came up from a resident or whoever, the office just had to pick up the phone and call land care because they're the only ones that are going to do anything inside the fence. That'd be ideal.
The only
yeah,
clarification.
or some landscaping company that's going to cover the whole area.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yep.
no question, no question.
And the only clarification though is that the CAM or the office needs to know the distinction between, because now when you're dealing with one company.
Yeah.
Where it's going to, where the bill's going to.
Okay.
And the other thing I do want to bring up is everyone should have a copy of, this was a response that I got from Laura. I think you have it there, and you see my chicken scratch on it there and a couple of things. And essentially, I'm dwelling on what I've highlighted there are the attorney's fees, engineering fees. I really don't know what they're for, and we should be seeing that, have an idea. That's not a reoccurring bill. It's a special bill. We should see it. The contract, landscaping, maintenance, landscape services, you could see that 149.48 number. And in the accompanied email that I did receive, although not attached to this, there was an explanation that that was through, I believe, late in April, that particular number. Okay? So that you know what's going on there. Look that over. I do have some other things that I did money there. I want to point out, and I did bring it up, the revenue reserve for 5862, that appears to be the number that we got back from ADT. That's sitting over there, and this summer, if we need to pop money into some line item, we can move that out and up to there. And we do have a couple other categories that we've budgeted and will be running over. I think the plant replacement program is, we're running a pretty high remaining budget, as well as the irrigation repairs. And I'm a little surprised at that, because I suspect some irrigation repairs may have been coded under the landscape services, because it came from them and it wasn't broken out, if you know what I mean. Okay.
That would make sense.
So the only way to figure out there's not a miscoding is to actually get a breakdown on.
We
every one
need
of
to
these.
see the invoices and see what they're for.
That doesn't-
That's about all I got. Just want to bring that stuff up to you. It's not a decision item right now, but I did want you to get familiar with the contract proposal that we do have from Landcare. And that, I'm not saying Mainscapes is gone, but I want to see that at this point in time, because we could do it at the end of the contract period, but I want to see what those bills were for. And I think we all do.
Have
We
the
need to
request
take a
been
really-
made prior to today's meeting, or are we requesting this today?
What's that?
The breakdown from all of this?
Well, I have,
They've been notified.
I've communicated with her. I didn't know she was, once again, she wasn't going to be here today.
Got it.
And Brian's aware of it. Hopefully he can get us maybe some of this information if that's possible.
I can shoot Sonia
All right.
and say, send me the
Yeah,
002 budget with a
and
breakdown.
Specific to Stoneybrook, I don't need a whole nother report of the whole.
Oh, we get a report of all of it.
So, yeah.
It's
and
got all
what
the
I need-
tabs across the bottom.
Because I
I'll tell
want to go back, and especially for the landscaping, because the dates on that contract are 6 months out from our budget. I want to go back to October 1st for that and see, where the money went from October 1st till now, if that's okay.
It looks like.
Because that's what we have to worry about in our budget, not what the
Yeah, if we
contract
stay with
says.
Mainscapes up through the end of this year, we'll have money in the budget. Well, except for where this other stuff comes
Yeah,
from, because we budgeted enough.
I'm,
I think their costs come down on us this time.
did it?
Yeah. About,
Because you don't have mulch on it.
Because we don't have mulch in it,
One thing, but it was more than what the mulch was, so it'd come down.
but they owe us a mulch. There's no doubt in my mind, they owe us a mulch.
But what you can do is, like, say you build a separate line item and do as needed.
Yeah.
Instead of 3 times a year. If you don't need 3 times a year, why spend the
Well,
money for
I
3
don't think
times?
we ever got 3. I thought we got twice.
Yeah, with Gateway, you got 3.
Yeah.
You were getting 2.
Yeah, we were getting
The-
2.
Year one of the contract, if we stay with Mainscapes, with maintenance, pest control, et cetera, without the mulch, is 112,213. Year two, it goes up to 117,800, and then year three, it goes up to 121,346.
And there's
But there's no mulch included.
And no mulch and no
Yeah.
tree trimming in that.
Yeah.
That's
And the mulch,
And I know that you were concerned, had mentioned, I think, last month that with the contract being out of sync with the budget, that was not a cool thing to do. I think that you were going to be shooting to try to get that. synced.
We're going to, on our end of it, try to sync it where it expires September from now on, not.
Yeah. That's
I don't know why they ever did it expire in the middle of the year when you got.
that's what we had to do with a state when we had them. It's a couple months and it just screws up.
If, it's fine if there's not much change, but we're going through a period of change right now, which just shows the weakness of that.
Because what it might have to do is year 3, then make it extended all the way till the end of the year.
If they're weak.
So that way you're lined up when it
That's
expires.
what the state did with theirs. They changed they increased their cost in August. And it could be 3 to 5% by contract. So we changed that and they just carried out the current year up until the end of the year, which was another 4 or 5 months. And then the increase would take effect on our budget year. So made it a lot easier budgeting than trying to figure out how much they were going to budget.
Sure.
Yeah,
You know, for us, it's almost guess, especially when we didn't even have actuals for the 6 months, and the 6 months, which is a little screwy. Almost, we were looking at the double where they did their projections and figuring that must have been half of what it was, close to it, I don't know. In any case, does anybody have any questions about what we just talked about?
Will we get those invoices at the next meeting?
Don't know. Hopefully, maybe before. All right, so anybody have anything they want to throw into the pot here?
Yes.
Let's work around. Just, I'll get to you.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think that, I figure you might. Yeah, you're
Nope.
good? Angela?
Fair enough.
Good.
Yeah.
There you go. See?
Angela says I talked too
Okay.
much, so I just didn't say much.
Just a follow-up on that wet backyard on Bluestone.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Remember that gig? We spoke to Mike from Land Care because I had him, I said, look, you know, from the fence down, that's yours. You know, do you know anything about it? And he goes, I've told Mainscapes a couple of times, and he's even flagged them. There's 1 or 2 broken heads.
Heads or pipe?
No, he said they were the heads at the top of the hill on the outside of the fence,
On your,
Yeah, when they-
on the gateway side.
on the gateway side, so that when they come on, the water just runs down and it goes, creates the pond.
And it kind of
Did he
like.
flag 'em?
He said he flagged them.
Okay.
And he spoke to whoever from
Juan?
Mainscape. I don't know, who did he say he spoke
I
to?
didn't
Do you
think he-
remember?
I think he might have said one. I think he,
Who-
but he didn't.
But it's been a few months. He
Yeah.
showed the email that he sent. It was back in February.
But did he ever get a response from him though?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think he said he got a response.
Who's the guy you're talking about?
Mike from Land Care sent an email to Juan.
Does
And
Mike,
he might have even talked to,
does Mike have a phone number?
look at that contract. It might have the-
I didn't see it on the contract. Just said his email, but I probably got it in here.
I got a number for land, I got the number for the company that you can probably get his number from. It's 455 4 zeros. And it's area code is the same.
Wow, I don't have his phone number. Shame on me.
So I called this company, asked for Mike, and there's probably 5,000 Mikes, so
Mike.
which one?
Mike.
was the-
Mike, he is.
EDGE.
EDGE, Mike Edge? Okay.
There's his email address on this contract.
So I can have him get with Juan.
Oh, here you go.
Oh, sweet. That'll work. Thank you.
And just in case you need it, that's his boss.
No. I will reach out to him and see if he flags it and get with Juan and get him irrigation fixed.
Yeah, we've been working on this wet lawn in the guy's backyard for a while now. It was tough identifying exactly what it was.
Yeah,
but
because it was
seems-
wet. I went back there the first time and it was wet. There was a couple inches of water.
And
And we
it's
told him to
not
shut off his
rain, because
irrigation.
this is what during the heart of that dry period. We asked him to shut off the irrigation, him and his
Well, he walked-
neighbors.
He even walked back there.
I went through
Checked
there.
it out.
I saw it.
So he-
And,
he
uh,
That's why I figured it had been irrigation from somewhere because it was
yeah,
dry
it
as a
wasn't,
bone.
exactly.
He shut it off. I went back and I said, oh, that's great.
He
I
was
can
like,
actually walk through
this
here
should
now.
be an easy fix. It
Then I
seems
went
like
back
a
2
broken
days
heads.
later and it's a lake again.
Yeah.
And then we had our meeting Tuesday and I just happened to be talking to Mike about it because I wanted him to go in and nobody can cut that area.
Right.
So I said, you got a weed whacker on a long pole so you can reach in there and whack it down. And he goes, is that the area? And he goes, and that's how we found out about all that stuff. And then the other thing I wanted to mention, Monday morning after the Memorial Day event, Lou and I walked around almost the whole neighborhood. We had to check on violations and other things. And there's a lot of sidewalk issues with roots starting to push them up. What really caught my attention, I think it's on Muddy Creek, the first street past the Bluestone Lake.
Mhm.
You turn that corner right there, there's like 2 holes in the sidewalk, probably about as big as this. It almost looks like maybe it was an air pocket just under the surface. when it was poured, or it's
Probably
really
a
weird.
defective sidewalk. yeah.
There's like one here, and then the next one is like right here. And I just happened to be looking only because of these two issues we have going on. with-
I gotta tell you something, if we solve this, guy who was gonna be our, maintenance guy, he can mix up a batch of cement and fill them up. I would think.
We had to hire a grinding company near the
Well,
clubhouse
yeah.
prior.
Yeah, but that was to
Yeah, for
get
the
down
couple-
the edges.
For the couple of holes, yeah.
Yeah.
But then they also, the areas where they would have to grind, they better do something with the roots that you can see going right under that piece of sidewalk, because they're gonna grind it every 6 months.
Yeah, those roots and those trees have to be dealt with. They have to be dealt with.
And with
I would
me
suggest you
walking
start
down
with a
to
tree
see-
before you do anything with a
I
sidewalk.
agree.
Because what'll happen is, I don't care what root barrier you're putting, you're wasting your money, because root barrier only goes down a foot. Because I got this dilemma up and down Gateway Boulevard, but I can't touch the oak trees. So what's going to happen is, about every 3 to 5 years, I keep tearing the asphalt out and re-putting new asphalt in.
How deep were the root barriers that we put in? I thought they were more than a foot.
They're 2 foot wide,
How-
and I think he put them down about a foot, so.
They only
goes down about 3
They go a
foot.
foot, two, it doesn't matter, they're not going to work.
It's just to reflect, the moisture away.
They go under.
Yeah.
So to me, there's only one kind of root barrier that's going to work, and you ain't going to spend the money on it. It's a copper type of base. That's because the tree don't like the copper, and they're very
No,
expensive.
a lot of things don't like that. We gotta communicate one more time. I don't care what Chad says, this is their responsibility. The homeowner who has the, tree, he's gotta do something.
Oh, no, these were along Pebblebrook.
Oh, on Pebblebrook. Oh.
What, on the
On the
concrete side?
concrete
On the
side.
concrete.
We didn't address that, really.
Well, I've been up and down, I haven't really noticed anything, but again, I wasn't really looking that much for
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, the holes were just around the corner onto Muddy Creek.
Okay, well, I don't think you had
But
any new trees.
the different levels, yeah, on the streets didn't seem to be a problem. But and the reason why I caught my eye is because I know this little bit of an issue that we're dealing with that.
Yeah.
That Morgan and Morgan issue there with the front. And what I've seen was worse than that. And I'm like, look, we gotta do something about these two. I said, because he goes, well, I
Correct
think
me
you
if
and
I-
I should walk around the whole neighborhood with a can of spray paint or something, because Lou said, he goes, there's more.
Do not do that.
Yeah, I would agree.
Do not do that. Once you do it, you're liable, and you have to change
Yeah,
those
'cause
out.
now you're.
Anything a quarter inch or above is non-ADA compliant.
Yeah.
So you get a quarter inch or above, and you spray paint that, and you mark that, now you have a certain time frame to get that replaced. Or you just identified it, and you're negligent now down the long run.
Yeah, if you don't do something. Okay, I agree. Yeah, I was gonna verify that a quarter inch is what I thought. it was.
Quarter inch ADA non-compliant, once you're above a quarter inch.
And that's why when we went out to that one street on, I think it was, Stone Tower. Stone Tower, and that was nowhere near a quarter
No.
inch. That was ridiculous.
That, I don't even want to talk about that one.
Okay,
You're in compliant, I'll say that.
okay.
Well, I walk, dogs down Ivy Stone and Stone Tower all the time, and I try to take pictures if I see one that looks like it's coming up a little from like a tree or whatever, but it's,
What we need to do then is send a letter to the homeowner and say, you got a problem with your tree. It's impacting the sidewalk.
so what I usually do is I'll shoot a picture of just something that looks like it, could be a hazard in the future, and I'll shoot a picture of the house so I know where it is. But I just wasn't sure what to do with that information to,
We communicate to them that they have a problem, they're impacting the sidewalk. Their
do I
tree
hand that
is-
information over to
It
the
comes through the office.
board, the office, the
It
CAM?
comes through the office, yeah. You can make him aware of it.
There's quite a few little
I'm
ones,
sure
but I
there
don't
are.
know if they're like at
We
the,
got all those damn
limit.
trees you can count on.
Send it to office, SBGHOA@castlegroup.com.
Well, I have not, to me, those oak trees look like they're further away from the sidewalk and up higher where they really don't come down there. I've not,
There's a couple, if you take
I'm
the
not
time
seeing
to
it.
actually looking at it, you could see the root coming along the surface right to the sidewalk.
Yeah, some of them you can't miss.
There's no doubt about it.
Easiest way to tell is how high, how wide the canopy goes out.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
how far your roots go out.
Pretty much.
I don't know why people even leave them in their yard. When you find one and you say, well, look, it's hitting the sidewalk, and then you look and there's no grass, there's a ton of leaves, all roots. Like, why would you keep this?
Shade. That's why I haven't taken mine down yet. That's shade the front yard.
A lot of people love trees. They don't want to take them down.
We have
Yeah, but
Unless
it's
you
a
want
lot of people take them down.
I know.
And then it's always right over the sewer line coming out of the house, so.
Yeah, well, that's,
You know what?
that's where Lennar put all the ones at the villas.
Yeah,
Right by the water meters. We took 83 of them down.
Well, that's all I got, people.
We have
Anybody
one
else?
or twice
You
because
got-
it was growing into
what's
the
that?
irrigation.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, you got anything for us that you think is?
Happy Friday. No, actually, pond 59's done, other than watering it. That'll probably be, I suggest probably another 2-3 weeks of watering unless the rainy starts every day.
Yeah, well, we're happy with that one.
Once he does that, then the board lets it go bye-bye and his little buggy goes away. And if you see anything else, let me know, but I checked it out. He did a real good job on that pond.
So the number of the next one to be done is,
They're on 123 starting next week. We walked that one today. It's over in Magnolia,
okay, that's the round one? The round
a
one?
little bitty one.
Yeah, but in our community would be the one that's contained within Bluestone essentially.
You have 2 of them over there scheduled for next year. I'm pretty sure the big long one,
82?
that big monster one. There's a little one over there.
They 1/10 of a mile long.
Yes.
I remember.
They're gonna do when they do the long one, they're not gonna do the.
They only do the side with the houses.
Ah, okay.
Funding goes August to the state. Then we'll know whether or not they get funding for it or not.
State should be raking in money. Right?
Not after COVID.
You don't think so?
No, because there's probably gonna be other priorities. Governor DeSantis is big on water quality, like with Okeechobee and all that stuff. And I see a lot of stuff
And they
getting,
got problems up in Tampa too.
yeah. So I have a feeling you're gonna see a lot of that funding go that direction. We'll
That
see
makes
though.
sense,
You-
yeah.
you can't-
Well, Lake Okeechobee does impact us because
Yeah.
that's where the water then winds up getting dumped into the,
But this year we were lucky.
Waxahachie and all
This
the
year we were
problems.
lucky because the levels are so low. They said that Okeechobee's like 2 foot below normal, so it should be able to hold summer rains unless you have a hurricane, but
Mhm.
who knows?
you want to hear a funny thing on Lake 59? Wasn't a week when they were finished. And I guess the plugs must have come out. And they were the picture of the alligator on that. Came back, because I'm sure it wasn't there while they were doing their work.
No, he's been there.
Has he?
He's been there the whole time.
We're happy.
They don't care. You'd be
Move to
surprised.
adjourn, Mr.
Okay,
Laying over on the sandy part.
we got, all right, we got a motion to adjourn the meeting from Warren Davies, so he has opened and closed. And we got a second from Angela. And all in favor?
Aye.
We're done. And once again, I want to thank everybody for coming and Brian for helping us out. And let's go forward.